650,000 barrels per day. That's we have reports that Dangote refinery is undergoing test runs for premium motor spirit or petrol production, with full operation expected by mid-September. This was revealed by newsmen, quoting a note by industry monitor, that's the IIR Energy. The $20 billion refinery built by Aliko Dangote, which has so far only produced diesel and other distillate fuels, had earlier said that petrol deliveries from the refinery will start in July. Before that, the refinery had aimed to start making the motor fuel by May. And once fully operational, the refinery is set to open the Europe to Africa fuel trade and reduce Nigeria's reliance on imported refined product. Earlier in the month, the federal government's committee, which was set up to ensure the implementation of crude oil sales to local refineries in Naira, had reached an agreement with Dangote Petroleum Refinery for the rollout of petrol in September this year. The report stated that the federal government also disclosed that the sale of crude oil to Dangote Refinery and other local refineries will also commence in October 1, 2024. Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, Wale Edun, has announced this during a meeting with the Implementation Committee in Abuja. All right, so how do you see this story, Doctor?
To me, I'm saddened by the prolonging of this commencement of production of petrol from Dangote refinery. We know that the refinery had started producing diesel and all that, just like we said. But why is it taking it so long? Why is the government delaying to supply the crude oil, to sell the crude oil to Dangote refinery? That's where my problem is, because we have a refinery in the country. In fact, it's the 7th largest refinery in the world. And it has not started producing petrol to the citizens of this country. So I don't see any reason for the delay. Why stipulating September, mid-September, 1st October? It is really funny. It is very, very sad. It shows that there is no political will of the government.
You don't see any limitations?
Yes, there is no limitation whatsoever.
The refiner, the crude oil.
There is no limitation. We're not supplying it outside the country. From where the refinery is located, and at Lagos, we have pipelines. We have, in fact, there is no reason to say that the supplying of the crude oil should delay. No reason, to my own opinion. I've worked in the oil field before, and I've seen it to be a kind of internal hindrances and all of that, because the impact of Dangote refinery, once it comes to full stream, is going to ameliorate most of these petrol issues. But because I think those individuals, both the stakeholders, the government, they are still fancying importing petrol into the country. They want to still import petrol and then inflict more sufferings on the people based on the high prices of the petrol. Because if Dangote refinery comes to full stream, it's going to reduce the prices of petrol. So why are they wasting the time?
If we have a stake with Dangote refinery, then why would anybody want to, should I say, frustrate the efforts of the refinery in order for certain individuals to benefit?
Yes, they are frustrating it, to my own opinion, because they want to keep importing the petrol. Do you know that if Dangote refinery begins operation in terms of petrol production, there is no need for importation? It's going to close that market.
You think that refinery would feed the whole
it's going to
Nigeria?
feed West Africa, not Nigeria. The capacity of Dangote refinery is to fuel West Africa. Nigeria cannot be able to consume all that Dangote will produce. So it's going to circulate to West African countries. And I don't know why the system is not encouraging our own, even if it's a privately owned refinery. Do you know what it is? As a country, we don't have any refinery that is working.
Even though we're paying staff in those refineries.
The full staffs are being paid, the staff are paid. And the refineries are dormant.
That's something that should really be explained to Nigerians.
They have not come up to tell us, because we keep hearing it's going to work next month.
Yes,
it's going to work
but
this
then
week.
we have people working so
there.
What are they doing exactly? And they are being paid.
It is waste of our resources, financial resources. You see that thing they call turnaround maintenance, that billions and millions and all of that is being put in there. All of those money are being...
Maybe we should get it clear. Is it a case of us not producing at all, or is it a case of the refineries not meeting the capacity?
There is no production in any of those refineries. I have worked in one of the refineries. Since I left, that refinery is still dead.
All right, let's bring Kechuko into the conversation now with this particular story on Dangote refinery.
Let me start with this analogy. I am hungry and in their need of food, and you are in the kitchen making food to feed me. Initially, the aroma from the kitchen could serve as a temporary relief, because it gives hope that food will be ready in few minutes. But if minutes lingers into hours, hours lingers into a day, the aroma will no longer be funny or appealing to me. I'll begin to wait and look for how to get food. At some time, one begin to wonder, this refinery, by the way, that was hurriedly commissioned before it was even completed, was it built to change the goalpost or to produce petroleum product for Nigeria? Now the due date is September, but before now, even from last year, we have always had a date. The fun thing about this,
what do you mean by changing the goalpost?
Changing the date of when production will kick off.
Okay.
Yeah. And the funny thing about this is that, though a private entity, it is the government that is always announcing the new date
for its
commencement of production.
Not the company.
Not the company. Do you get it? And this new date, all those that spoke are also from the government side. Minister of Finance. When did the government become the spokesperson of
a private
entity? It raises more questions than answer. Then he talked about, doctor talked about those that import fuel, and you ask the question. This thing is simple. It shows how powerful those vested interests against Nigeria is. Because these are not mere individuals, they are not mere businessmen. If it is mere businessmen, the state is strong enough to confront any opposition and crush it. We have seen it happen before. But when those oppositions are exactly not opposition, but they are those within the corridors of power in government, then you now understand why there is lack of will to confront. I mean, last time, just during the protest, the government announced that, I think that was the president in his speech that's actually said nothing. Said they have ordered for products to be released. The question that came to my mind is that, do you need the president to give an
order before it will?
You say, and you know what? Days after, Dangote refinery released a document to say, we thank you for this thing, but we have not seen
the
one
product.
Yes. Until date, nobody from government has refuted
that
to say, we have. So it's again been played. Initially, I would have thought those in government would be interested in having such a humongous project succeed in Nigeria, but it appears that's the contrary, because beyond the fuel we benefit, that company will create employment in a country system that is in their need of employment. We create subsidiary industries around it, those that will supply various things to it, the economic growth. Then this company and all the subsidiaries around it will pay tax to the government. That means the government will get more money. And then the issue of looking for dollars to buy products, would reduce. If the only dollar we save is the one we use to import fuel, that would go a long way in stabilizing
the economy.
Exactly. These are the things the government would have been interested to make this work. But it does appear that the government
reverse is
the case. Yes, they are not interested in all this. So the question that is begging for answer: what is government interest in not having this refinery work? Why is government the spokesperson fixing date for the refinery? You talked about the government refineries that has not worked. That's an indictment on the system. You talked about that the workers are being paid. Let me make a correction. Those workers are not just being paid; they are paid handsomely, more than most people that put in their life in work.
Yeah.
But this is a company these are companies that produce nothing, and the workers are handsomely paid. Talk about wonders of the world. You find it in Nigeria. For crying out loud, if the only thing government will gain from Dangote refinery is the tax they will get from it, is enough to make it work. But here, we are not talking of tax. Government will get tax. The queues in the filling station will likely disappear. Government is a huge economic benefit for the system. Petroleum will be exported, and government will earn foreign exchange.
Okay. So, when Dangote was talking about what he's facing, frustrations and all, mentioned the NNPCL. And then, if you feel like the government in a way is not supporting as they should, then why do you think they would have a stake in a company and would not want to support the functionality of that company?
The more you look, the less you see. That the stake, like the Dangote people came out to say, we were given a particular figure that this is the stake we have. But when the Dangote people spoke, which was after a long silence anyway, I think at the height of his frustration, he had to speak. We discovered that the stake they even said they have is far lower than that.
They also got to explain.
They got to explain. Yes. But of course, don't forget that stake is from government coffers.
Yes.
But whatever benefit that is accrued from having Dangote not work goes to private pocket, even if it is the pocket of those in government. So they may value that which goes to private pocket than that which comes to the public.
Okay.